Hello and welcome to Footy Judge Mode. This is your daily debate, whatever you want to call it. It's myself and a guest. I think we'll enjoy this one because this one is going to be not very heated, but it will be a little bit different and disagreements in opinions. But I'm here, so hit that like button for me if you just joined the stream right off the bat here. I'm going to have a great guest for you today. One of my favorite guys to talk to, of course, one of the level-headed and someone who backs his club, but also very rational, amazing guest. You hear him all the time on the 12th Man podcast on AAF TV. One of the guys that I was looking forward to speak to one-on-one since I started this channel. And he's here with me. It's the one and only, the amazing Dan Potts, of course. He's going to be here with me. So Dan, welcome. Big up, my man. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you being here, of course.
No, listen, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for having me. And I was saying to you offline, the reason I'm not behind my usual surroundings is there's been a problem with where I live. There's unfortunately some protesters out on the motorway, and it's literally gridlocked everywhere. So I'm kind of stuck. So I thought, you know what? Let's have a chat with Mo. I've got another show after this as well, and then hopefully I can get on the road later on.
hopefully. But so how are you feeling? Let's start by the obvious, right?
Yeah.
How are you feeling? How is the feeling after this Man City first time in 8 years, of course? Kind of dominant performance, mature. How was the feeling after the game?
Well, listen, for a cagey game, it was an electric atmosphere, Mo. Let me tell you. Honestly, the Emirates was absolutely buzzing. And so rightly so, man. This has been a long time coming. You mentioned 8 years. I think it's been 12 attempts, 12 failures in the league. And it's been pretty embarrassing, if I'm honest, in parts. It's fair to say. What I will say is that there was more fight than I've seen in a long time. And I think this Arsenal side at the moment is set up completely differently, which I've actually not been a fan of. I don't think we've played amazing at all this season, if I'm honest with you, Mo. But what I will say is that we've been a lot more dominant in terms of the football and possession. And I think that match Manchester City, I don't think either side will be amazed by the way they played. And I think the neutral was quite disappointed by the game, to be fair. I don't think it was a game that anybody looked at and went, wow, two unbelievable sides playing unbelievable football. It was quite the opposite at times. It was very much controlled, possession-based, domination in a different type of way. But I'm buzzing, man. And I don't care how the ball's gone in. I don't care whether people say it's lucky or not. I'm taking the 3 points because the amount of times that I've had games like that where we've come out at the back of a 1-0 loss or we've lost it more than one has been too many, man. So it's nice to see. What does this mean? Who knows? But right now, I'll take it, bro. I'll take it, bro. 100.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, I enjoyed the game as a neutral. I actually wanted Arsenal to win because I want to see a title race. You tell me convincing, not convincing, it doesn't matter. For me, at the end, this is Manchester City. You get the 3 points and you move on. It's as simple as that. You just don't dwell on it. People just keep analyzing, it's lucky, this, that, injuries here and there. It's just, that's not the point. This is a cup game. In these games, and I keep saying it, in the big games in the Premier League, you play in Liverpool, playing Spurs, forget a style of play, forget a beauty, forget this fluid thing. It's a cup game. It's all about the 3 points. And this is what Arteta did. He put his best side out that he thinks will hold the game. And then at the end, he unleashed his guns, right? He unleashed his guns and they got the job done. Look at Martinelli terrorizing the area.
Yeah.
But it's exactly that. He treated it as a tactic. I said it's a tactical masterclass, of course. But let me start by one guy also. I want to talk about the guy of the hour. If you thought like Declan Rice, people talk about Declan Rice. And this guy has been great signing for you. You paid a lot of money for him. And is he paying off or not? There's a discussion here and there. Is him, Bissouma, Thomas Partey, all the talk. But people, hit that like button for us, please. There's about 40 of you here and we just started. So hit that like button. Get us to 50 like. Please, like button right away. It's underneath your live chat. It goes a long way. It's how this channel can grow. But are you happy with it? Do you think you got your money's worth from Declan Rice after 8 games in?
Money's worth and more so, bro. This guy's been our best player this season. Period. I've been a big fan of what Saliba's done. I loved Gabriel and Saliba's performance at the weekend. I look at Declan Rice, Mo, and I think, wow, you can play 6, you can play 8, and you can do everything in midfield. Whether it be win the ball back, whether it be win your duels, whether it be dominant in the air, comfortable on the ball, spreading balls forward, keeping passes sideways or backwards, knowing the intelligence off the ball to keep things safe. I've been so impressed, bruv. So impressed. And when we went in for him, I wanted him, but I was always conscious of how much we were going to be having to pay for him. But at the end of the day, I wanted him. So when people were saying to me, this is a ridiculous amount of money, I was going, yeah, but do we want him? If we don't want him, just walk away because he is going to be over 100 million. And if you don't think that he's not going to be, just walk away and go and get somebody else. Because, then we saw Caicedo and Bellingham and Rice all going for this money and Enzo before that. Yeah, that's what they cost now. And he's been worth every penny. A lot of people will say to me that this is a player that, you've got Partey. Listen, we needed him because Partey's not been about. And Rice can play in the 8, Rice can play in the 6. Last season, I spent so long, Mo, saying, oh, please don't get injured, Partey. Please don't get injured. Now, if he actually is injured, we've got Rice that can play there. So for me, bruv, he's been fantastic. What I've loved even more is the way that he's handled the media, the leadership on and off the pitch, the way he's dealt with the fans, the way he's been accepted. And I think most importantly, the way he's been playing. This guy's needed no settling in time. You get a big player like that, there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders like there was with Jack Grealish. Took him a whole season, Jack Grealish, to even be accepted within the Manchester City side because he wasn't playing well enough. This guy's taken 8 games and he's been our best player. It's not about 8 games in, he's just finding his feet. He's just branching into this first team now. This guy's been head and shoulders above what we have seen in our midfield this season. He's been outstanding, mate, in every single game. Scoring goals already, creating goals already, clearances off the line at the weekend. Jules, the tackle he made in the second half was just outstanding, breathtaking. So I've been so impressed, man, and I think he's been worth every penny.
Yeah. For me, it's listen, he's been great and everything. I am yet to see his dominance against a big team, and I'm being honest here. Like I saw Jorginho kind of was really good actually. Jorginho the other day against Manchester City, he was controlling the tempo of the game, which is something you appreciate from an experienced player like that. He helped Declan Rice, he helped Odegaard, and he helped the rest of the team actually settle down after this first 5 minutes that was shambles by the defense and by David Raya, and everybody was just off their seat, I'm sure, in the stadium. But that comparison between Declan Rice, and I want you to remove your Arsenal hat a little bit and talk to me about Declan Rice. We had this discussion yesterday about Declan Rice and Bissouma. I don't want to dwell on it. How do you see both players going forward? Is it a like for like, or is Thomas Partey going to come in and Declan Rice is going to be transformed to an 8? How do you see that comparison? North London rivals, of course. Is that in your head at all? Is that in your head? Or do you even think about that? Do you get dragged into these conversations at all?
No, I don't, because I don't see Tottenham as title challengers. And I'm not saying that because I'm a gooner. I still think Manchester City will win the league. I don't think Arsenal will win the league. And I've been quite clear about that from the start. Beating Manchester City doesn't change that for me. But what I will say is that Tottenham, with 1 game a week, could easily get into the top 4 conversation now. They've lost Harry Kane, and a lot of people said it was going to get bad for them, but they brought in Maddison. They brought Bissouma back into the position that he should have been playing all of last season, and he's been fantastic. But I don't compare Tottenham's side to Arsenal's and look at it and go, yeah, that's scary. I don't see Tottenham as being scary. They've played...
But they came to your ground and kind of dominate the ball, could have won the game, could have gone both ways. That's different Tottenham than every year. Don't you agree?
Yeah. We should have been 2-0 up within the first half, but Jesus couldn't keep his composure. I think that would have killed the game off. Let's be real, Mo. The only reason they took anything off of us because Jorginho had a brain fart. That's basically what happened.
But all your chances as well were mistakes from them. And that's credit to Maddison for pressing Jorginho, picking the right moment. You can go both ways.
Yeah, you can go both ways.
You're saying I could have gone 2-0 up, but it's from mistakes as well. It's not from your own creation. Do you disagree with that?
No, I don't disagree with the mistakes. I think both teams made them. But
they took their chances. You didn't. You could have been 2-0 easily. But it was...
Yeah, it could have been. I mean, it should have been.
Even Nketiah's chance was a mistake. With a pass back from you, doggy. That Jesus was a mistake from Maddison. You didn't take your chances. They did. That one mistake by dwelling on the ball, Jorginho, Maddison pressed him. I saw the game. It was fair. A draw was fair. People said, yeah, this. But I get what... Why can't Spurs be Arsenal's last year then? Why not? If they keep players fit, why not? Why are we refusing this?
That is the thing. They need to keep players fit. I don't look at them and think, oh yeah, they're playing electric. that football was unstoppable. Ours was unstoppable, which is why we went right the way through to Christmas and no one could get near us. And I think when Tottenham, I do like the way they're playing. I think it's better than last year. Not that that was too difficult to beat, but I will say that I think they've got lucky. I think they've got very, very lucky. They've played Sheffield United, Luton, and Burnley. They've managed to scrape past two of those, and they're all, let's be real, going to be in a relegation fight. They've not dominated any of those. Burnley, they battered. It's probably the only one you could say they did dominate. The other two, I mean, let's be real. If Luton had their shooting boots on, it would have been 1-1. And Sheffield United could actually hold on. They threw that away 2-1. They've got Liverpool, and we all know what happened when they got 3 points against them. Manchester United, wow. I mean, we beat them as well. I don't know. I don't look at.
You can only beat what's in front of you. Let's shift back to Arsenal.
It's how they play. It's how they play, and it's how they're winning.
It's good in the eye. I think that's.
Is it sustainable? Is my question.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But Arsenal. So going back to Arsenal a little bit. I know, Dan, that people say you're never happy. There's a lot of people in the chat that say you're never happy when you say Manchester City will win the league. Manchester City will do that. We won't win the league, and people want to see a little bit of like. I'm not saying overconfident, but they want to see confidence. They want to see belief in the team. So why don't you think that you can do it this year? Like Man City also could have been hit with an injury or something. If Rodri gets injured, I don't think they're the same thing. So I think Arsenal actually in a good position to go toe to toe. Like, listen, it's all about context, all about small margins, and I think this Arsenal team with William Saliba is 100%. Now he's even better than last year. Declan Rice look okay. I think Trossard now is very embedded. Fabio Vieira is getting you output. Maybe even Kai Havertz now with a target man. Lump it to the big guy when you're... I know I'm not a big fan, but he can do a job as long as he's not a starter. Saka might get back from injury. Listen, then I think you're in a better place than last year. I said in the beginning of the season that Xhaka is going to be a big miss for you. But the way Declan Rice has been playing, it's looking all right. It's looking all right. You're more mature.
It's looking more than all right when you look at the table, when you look at the fact that we actually haven't really played amazing yet. And we're still, along with Tottenham at the top. Manchester City will win this league because they've shown me no evidence as to why they won't. They've done it for the last 3 years. This could be 4 in a row. They've just done the treble. I don't think they've weakened their side. I think Gundogan and Mahrez are unbelievable players. But I do think that they will be replaced in the next few weeks. You'll see that Doku has come in and gone, okay, there's your Mahrez. I think Kovacic has looked like he's played there for a long time. Should have been sent off at the weekend, by the way. But he's looked like he's played there for a long time with Pep. He's got it right. For me, Arsenal was still short.
Where are you short?
I think we're short in 4 areas. I think there's 4 positions that we still need to look at. I don't think we got a Saka replacement. I really don't. And we didn't miss him at the weekend. But let's be real, it isn't ideal. We do need a striker. I think if we look at the forward line and we look at Eddie, Eddie does all right. You've just mentioned Kai Havertz. I actually wanted to see Mikel Arteta use Kai Havertz as more of a different dimension centre forward. And that happened at the weekend and he set up the goal. So fair play. But is that sustainable? Do we look at Kai Havertz and think, oh yeah, he's taking them to a new level? Not for me. I hope he will. I hope he becomes good, but not yet. And the other position is we have many attacking midfielders. We have many defensive midfielders, but we don't have one in the middle other than Declan Rice who can do both. We have no box-to-box midfielder. Granit Xhaka was replaced by Rice, but we needed somebody along with Xhaka and Rice. So we either needed to keep Xhaka and sign Rice or sign Rice and somebody else. Like a Kefren Turam, like a Yusuf Fofana, somebody like that who can do both. Not somebody who sits and anchors like Jorginho, Partey, El Neni, and not somebody that can play attacking 8 or 10 like Odegaard, Vieira, Smith-Rowe, Havertz. We need somebody in the middle that can do the both. Because if Declan Rice does get injured, like he was the other day, you could see where's that box-to-box midfield. We've got Jorginho sitting, we've got Odegaard, and then we've just got a statue in Havertz in the middle. So for me, we need that athleticism in the middle, in the midfield. I'm not so sure that we've got that. We need a centre forward. I know people are talking about Ivan Toney. Of course, I'd love him. I love Ivan Toney.
Anybody would love an Ivan Toney. Okay, I think any team in the Premier League, even if you tell Man City, they'll tell you, yeah, we'll take an Ivan Toney. He's not a bad player, is he?
Of course. And Pedro Neto is the other one being linked with a move to Arsenal, which I would love. I think he's a phenomenal talent. Always liked him. Yes, gets injured. Oh, he's always injured. Dan, he's always injured.
No, he had only 2 long-term injuries. He's not always injured.
I agree.
These are two long-term injuries. He's not like, he doesn't get injured like a muscle after a muscle. It's just a two long-term
He's been
injuries. Like
unlucky.
this is it.
Yeah. He's been
But
unlucky. And
people,
look
we
at
almost,
what he's doing.
Go ahead.
You know,
There's 100 people here almost, and then guys, there's only 50 likes. So the like button is underneath your live chat. You hate me when I keep asking you for the like button. This is the only way we'll get people here on this channel and get it going. If you like the content, just hit the like button. This is free. I'm not asking you for super chats. I'm not asking you for anything. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and like the damn video. It's underneath your live chat. Close the live chat, hit the like button, but also Dan Potts' channel is linked in the title. It's just a link. You click on the link, you go to there, there's a video set up. You will be redirected to there. After that, you hit a like button in that video and you come back, chat with us, and then you go watch the brilliant Dan Potts with the brilliant panel after this. It's easy. This is just easy. But then I don't want to move from Arsenal because I actually feel Arsenal is the hope along with Liverpool. However, do you think you're closer to Man City? If we're going to have a title race, do you think it's going to be you, or it's going to be you and Liverpool, or it's going to be only Liverpool? Who do you think can go toe-to-toe with Man City, if you think there is any?
Arsenal. Arsenal are the ones to go toe-to-toe. And the reason why is, one, we've just done it. And I know that we bottled it, and we did throw it away. And you can talk about whether you think Arsenal bottled the league or not, and I don't want to debate that anymore. I think we did. I think we threw it away. We were 8 points clear at one stage, and we ended up losing the league. Now, injuries could have cost us. I think in-game management from Mikel Arteta also cost us. I hope he's learned from that. But my biggest concern, Mo, is that I still don't think we've strengthened, or that we're massively stronger on paper from last year. Now, mentally and development-wise, perhaps we are a year down the line. Mentally, we're probably stronger. We're definitely better a year on because the players are so young that they've learned a lot and developed a lot. So I'm hoping that that can take us a little bit closer. As for Liverpool, I said right at the start when Manchester City were looking at Liverpool saying, yeah, Liverpool are our closest rivals. We know them. It's Klopp. He's done it before. He's the only manager to get ahead of Pep before, and they always score goals. I said, yeah, that's all correct, but they also concede a lot of goals. And look at what we're seeing already. We're seeing mistakes at the back. They still don't have an anchor in midfield. They're playing Alexis McAllister there, and we saw what happened at the weekend with him. They've got defensive issues, in my opinion. I don't think Van Dijk is the same. I really don't. I think for the last couple of seasons after his injury, he's a good defender now, not a world-class one, in my opinion. A lot of people would disagree and say he is still one of the best in the world. But I see a lot of mistakes from Van Dijk. And I think they'll be fine because they're always going to score goals. They've got 5 or 6 players. But I look at what Liverpool, like up top, but I look at what Liverpool have got through the middle. And I've always said this, they're good around the edges, but in the middle, it's a little bit ski-whiff. Now, the only players in the middle, apart from their striker, of course, is Szoboszlai, who's been fantastic. And I do rate Alexis McAllister. I just don't see him as a Thomas Partey figure at all, personally, or Casemiro. That's not for me. And then alongside...
He isn't a DM, Dan. He isn't a DM at all.
That's what I mean. I don't know
like,
why.
At all. Like, the guy's defensive ability is as good as Odegaard. And I'm being honest here. Liverpool fans, people don't like that. The guy in the World Cup was playing next to a dog. In what's his name? The guy that plays for Atletico Madrid, Rodrigo de Paul. And look at him going forward. He is an Odegaard, not a Rice, not a Partey. This notion that he can play deeper in the midfield. You know Liverpool concede more chances than Spurs. Statistically.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you, and you know,
but
I don't even mind.
Can I add something to that?
Wrong.
But if they can sustain it until January, this winning games, I think if they go get a DM down, I think that the team is up there. It's up there. They have the money though.
100%. They've been willing to spend 115 million transfer record on Caicedo. They need to go and do something. I don't know who that player is. I've no idea. I've no idea who that player is, right? That's not for me to decide. But if they go and got a CDM and a centre-back, I think Liverpool are there or thereabouts. I really do. And I do think they'll be there or thereabouts already. You know, they're my tip to come third. They always were. I didn't put them ahead of Arsenal because I just felt like we have got... I'll ask you, would you rather have Gabriel, Saliba, Rice and Partey? Or would you rather have Kenyatte, Van Dijk, Endo and McAllister? You're taking our players over them.
I'm taking your play. Okay, no question.
Number
one, William Saliba is the best defender in the league by far. Like
you think? Yeah, you think he is?
By far. Like it's not even that because you're here. I said that yesterday, and I didn't have even an Arsenal rip. Listen, he's hitting peak Van Dijk. I know this is me going overboard, right? the way he makes defending easy is something that Arsenal have missed. You didn't have that defender that reads the game. You know, I said there's two types of defenders, a proactive defender and a reactive defender. A proactive defender with abilities is the best defender in the world. I'm not saying Saliba is the best defender in the world, but he's a very proactive. Like Gabriel is more of a reactive defender. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Proactive defenders are rare. The people that read the play before it even happened. Like the way he did with Haaland. Like every time Haaland tried to move, Saliba already read the game like yesterday, like he watched the game the day before. He knew exactly what was gonna happen. You guys, I played football, and I know that a proactive defender is a gem, and is a gem, and I'm like, it's just, this is different. And also the way now, it's not like Diaz for Man City. They don't only clear the ball. When they clear the ball, they clear it to a teammate. So you start all over again. That's what I like about Saliba. I think he's the best defender in the Premier League.
I love to hear that.
I'm just speaking what I see. I'm a neutral. People think I'm biased. People think I hate Arsenal. But yeah, I'm just saying what I believe. No, really,
you've never hated Arsenal when I've been on with you, so fair play. But listen, Saliba is unbelievable at 22 years old. For a player who's just turned 22, you look at what he's achieved so far with the individual performances and the individual stats that he's getting. That means he's going to be an unbelievable player in his position. Whether he goes on and wins stuff, I'm sure he will. I hope it's with Arsenal. I think if we don't win stuff, it'll be very hard to keep hold of him in the next coming years. But what I will say about him is he complements Gabriel, and Gabriel complements Saliba. They're an unbelievable partnership. And I was asked this question on my channel last night. Name me a better pairing right now in Europe. And you can name European centre-halves if you want to. But right now, I'm looking at them two, and I think they're right up there. They're in the conversation. Whether you think they're the best partnership, they're in that conversation. People talk about Diaz and Gvardiol. Well, Diaz and Gvardiol haven't actually played together.
Gvardiol even haven't played the centre-back yet.
Exactly.
Played once as a
left
centre-back.
back. So we can't really talk about a pairing. We can talk about Diaz and Stones.
Hold on. No. Okay, so let me answer that. Stones hasn't even played. Stones' role last year was kind of inverting in the midfield. He wasn't out and out centre back. He wasn't out and out stopper. He wasn't out and out man marking centre back. He was more of a. Look at his heat map against Inter in the final. Look at his heat map against Arsenal. Look at his heat map. Stones is a great player, but he hasn't played actually as a centre back. And I don't know if it's a system. You can say it's a system, not a system. That's not my point here. My point is we're talking about a centre back pairings. They haven't played that. Diaz and Stones haven't been the centre backs. It was Akanji probably dropping the balls. Ake was there with Diaz. Stones was more of a higher. Yeah, okay, Daniel here. Okay, Daniel, big up Daniel, of course. He's saying we defended in the back four. But listen, you gotta just admit that Stones played more of a midfielder next to Rodri instead of being a centre back. This is the reality that people don't want to. Maybe this is my opinion. People tell me I don't know football, but I'm just go watch his heat map. But anyway,
listen, I'm with you. I think the pair of them have been outstanding, and I think Gabriel's been one of Arteta's best signings. I really do, along with Odegaard.
My problem with Gabriel, and I'm being honest here, Dan Potts, when Saliba was not there, he fell apart, completely fell apart. Do you agree or not? Completely fell apart.
Fair. I think that's fair, but I also think that I probably would have been very, very difficult to be Baresi and not fall apart next to Rob Holding. That's all I'll say. So I look at Gabriel. Yeah, he didn't take it by storm, but he was our best defender last year, Gabriel. Saliba was outstanding. He got his long-term injury. Gabriel was our best defender. So I do think he gets overshadowed, Mo, by Saliba. I get the Saliba hype, and I'm all for it. One of my favourite players. But Gabriel's been a monster. Gabriel was better than Saliba at the weekend, for me. But people will talk about Saliba because he's a monster.
Not for me.
He was unreal, mate.
Gabriel was good, but you watching the stadium probably you saw more. Like the way I was watching on TV was Saliba was literally like Haaland. At some point, Dan, Haaland asked for Man City not to pass him the ball. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I know. My mate was talking about it.
Twice.
Crazy.
He asked him to calm down. It's not about being pocketed. It's about they literally just man marked him. You remember when Rudiger man marked him in the, but I thought Saliba was good, but again it's different. People tell me, but in Kitty Diaz was good in that game. Yeah, but Diaz had Nketiah going at him. He didn't have Erling Haaland, 36
Haaland
goals.
and Nketiah weren't really touching the ball, were they? Let's be real. Both
Well,
of our
Nketiah
centre
didn't.
forwards.
Nketiah was non-existent. But he
Exactly.
had 6 passes
Exactly.
for
And
75
Haaland as
minutes,
well.
bro.
Haaland, let's be real. I never looked at Haaland once and thought, what the hell's going on? Dan, I'm sorry, bro. Arsenal are Spurs on steroids.
Where is that comment?
Football matters. Wow. I mean,
Football matters. There is no
comparing
super
Arsenal to
chat, so
Spurs.
you read
Wow.
the chat and you can respond. So literally, people said so. So let's go into this, guys. There's over 130 of you here. This is great. I have no redirects. Nobody's coming from anywhere. This is just organic. It's by your likes how we're getting 130 people here in a channel just started a week ago. So just please hit that like. Get me to 100 likes. Just do me a favor and get me to 100 likes. What do you say to the people that said it was just a blip last year? You go in maybe 30 games. You go in that. What do you say for that?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because a lot of people compared last season's blip to Leicester winning the league. Crazy, really. Absolute crazy. But sometimes in football that things do happen like that, Mo. And I think there's a lot of credit deserves to go Mikel Arteta's way and a lot of credit goes to the players' way. I do get frustrated that I'm not convinced that Arteta can get us across the line because yet he's failed to do so, right? So I get the doubts for that one. But I don't think this was just a fluke from Arsenal. And I think this season it's the job of the players and manager to prove why it wasn't a blip and to prove that we're up there again. And right now it looks like we're going to be. It's 8 games in, a lot can change, Mo. But everybody was saying this last time. Now, what I do find a bit strange is whenever Arsenal are doing something, not going to happen. Tottenham are now doing it. Oh, are they in a title race? 8 games in. Oh, are they in a title race? No, they're not. Well, if we were 15 games in, top of the league, hadn't lost a game and whatever it was last year, then we had lost the game, to be fair, but you get my point.
Yeah, but we're 19 games in, 50 points, 100
Yeah,
on course to
there we
100
go.
points.
So we're almost so we're halfway, 50 points. They're not in a title race yet. It's too early. Spurs have got eight games down. Is it too early to say they're in a title race? Are they in a title race?
It's
Are we
not.
worried about
There is
Spurs?
nobody. Everybody's in a
Like,
title race. Brighton
what's
are in
going
a
on here?
title
Like,
race.
this is mad. If we weren't 19 games in and we weren't in a title race, how are Spurs in 8 games in? It's very bizarre. But I understand that people don't like Arsenal. I get it. I'm not against that because some of our fan base are a little crazy and a little deluded. But let's just talk factually here. Like, if we ain't in a title race 19 games in and we got 50 points,
You're definitely in
then
a title race. Then
Spurs
don't
ain't
do that. Then
8
after
games in.
12 games last year, I was on Never a Foul. I was on the terrace, and I think we did the shows. And I told you, it's not only about you winning games. It's about the way you stamped your authority. You know what I mean? Like Spurs, and I have to admit, they go to games, they stamp their authority. Once they get that defensive part correct, right, not conceding chances, I think they can be. I'm not saying they're going to win the title, but if you look at their next 5 games, they're actually winnable. Can you imagine having 15 points on top of that? They played 8 games. So after 13 points, if they have 35 points, that's a lot of freaking points. That's a lot of freaking points.
Of course. And, for me, Spurs are absolutely relying on the best player, one of the best players of the season for me so far, Maddison. Maddison has to stay fit. Likewise, Bissouma, I think, has been important as well. Those two get a knock, and Oliver Skip and Lo Celso come in.
Van de Ven as well. Like if Van de Ven gets injured, it's over for
there's
them.
more than him. There's Son, there's Sarr, there's all these guys that played well.
But so were you last year. How can you say that if you were the same last year? If Saliba got injured, the Thomas Partey got injured, you cannot. So, but you were able to keep your players for 30 games fit, and that's why you challenged. So I am assuming that they might be able to do that. 1 game a week. They're already out of 1 cup, so they don't have another cup that starts only in February, if I'm not mistaken, or something.
January, February, yeah.
January, February, yeah. So they have until January, February. This team is going to play 1 game a week. So it's very good chance that he can keep everybody fit this season. Do you think so?
Go win a title then. If that squad's good enough, go win a title. But I don't think it is. That's all I'm saying. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I don't see it, man. I think they've done incredible. I tell you what, they have done incredible. Postecoglou has done incredible.
Yeah.
Because it's a complete change. This was a style of football that nobody wanted to see. A style of football that should win you something with winnable players. Unfortunately, Spurs tried to get a winnable manager to try and win them a title or a cup with a squad that weren't good enough. But what actually Postecoglou's done is he's come in and gone, right, I'm going to completely change. We've got these players coming in. I want to sign Van der Ven because we need a defender to sort the defence out. Need to replace Lloris. Need to get creative midfielder in there. I'm going to play Bissouma. I'm going to bring a doggy in. And I'm going to keep that front three without Harry Kane as close as I can to Son, Kulusevski and Richarlison. And they've added a couple of players on that as well. If they can keep players fit, listen, they can be in and around there for up to January, February, 3rd place, 4th place for sure. I think they'll get a Champions League spot. I just don't think they can win a title. That's just me.
No, I don't think they can win the title for sure, 100%. I think just it can be around the top 4 or maybe like around the 2nd, 3rd. But anyway, let's move on from Arsenal and Spurs. We're 30 minutes in, people. So over 120 of you here, almost 130 people. So hit that like button for us. Well, I want to move to a little bit to Man City. I want to speak about Manchester City and your views on them this year. You think the lost experience? You think without Rodri, they looked a little bit different team at completely different team now. They lost 3 games on the bounce without Rodri. So do you think that is too reliant on Rodri, Manchester City?
Yes, absolutely. And they are incredible with him because he is the best CDM in the world, period. The problem they've got is the backup isn't quite good enough. And I'm a little bit disappointed in what Pep Guardiola's done in that position because for me, it was really reckless to let Gundogan go without replacing him with somebody that I think can play in both the 6 and the 8. Kovacic holding on his own, I don't see him as an anchor. I think he's a good midfielder, but I think he's definitely more of a central midfielder as opposed to a holding midfielder. Calvin Phillips is the guy who sits and holds. He doesn't trust him. So you've got 2 ways to look at that, Mo. You can say, why is he not trusting Pep Guardiola, trusting Calvin Phillips? Or if he doesn't like Phillips, which is quite evident that he doesn't, why didn't he buy a replacement in the summer? Because Matteo Nunez is not an anchor. Kovacic is not an anchor. Gundogan isn't really, but he can play there. And I think most people, I think LB said it on my channel, he would have been more comfortable with Gundogan there than Kovacic. For me, they need Rodri. They're missing KDB and Rodri. They didn't have Stones, obviously, as well. But Arsenal didn't have players either. You know, a lot of people weren't, sympathetic towards us last season when we had no part in Jesus. They weren't sympathetic towards us last season when we had no Saliba. But now it's like, oh, poor City. Rodri out. Oh, Arsenal.
No, there's no poor City. They spent Matthias Nunes, they got Kovacic, they got Doku, they got Gavardio. There is no poor City. It's up to you to replace the Gundogan. It's up to you to replace the Mahrez.
Exactly.
Yes, it's up to you to get now you got Phil Foden now. Now you got Alvarez now. Oof, what a player Alvarez. It's you got players like Alvarez was part of the team last year, but he wasn't a starter last year. Now he is one of the superstars.
He's been brilliant. He's
been absolutely fantastic, in my opinion. Doku has been great. But also, it's not on me that Jack Grealish has fallen off completely. We're not a favor. Somehow, they haven't turned into him. Like you're losing against your biggest title challengers, and you're not going into the experience guy. It's not on Grealish, though. I don't know what Pep Guardiola did. But it's not on me. Like, listen, it's not on me. Like Haaland, people want to say he's not getting the chances. He got the chances in the last 2 games and he missed them. And also, I want to say that Haaland as well, maybe he needed to shake it off. People have to say that all the time. And I get Daps, big up Daps, of course, and all that. And Lewis, of course, the Man City guys. They say, but they are instructions. Does that make sense? From Pep Guardiola. But for me, as a fan, I'm looking at Arsenal as a whole thing. Arteta and the team are, for me, are one entity. Pep Guardiola and the players are one entity. I'm not going to blame Haaland or I blame Pep or I blame this or that. You guys are one entity together. You won the treble together with your coach, with your players. People want to shift the blame to one or the other. So whatever you want to think about it, Haaland doesn't look exactly the same without KDB. He's not moving enough to create some chances. Like all the chances he's getting now, he has to beat a defender. Does that make sense? Last year, 100. It was him one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Now he has to beat a defender. That means the quality of the chances went down a little bit. But that's what we're saying about Man City. But people don't want to believe that. That's just my opinion. KDB not being there. You remember KDB last year was not there. It was Mahrez stepping up against Spurs. It was Gundogan stepping up against Spurs. Even Jack Grealish was stepped up against Manchester. You remember against Manchester United second game. He scored against Arsenal, if I'm not mistaken. So the squad should have enough firepower in him to play better without one player, which is Rodri. Kyle Walker now is embedded into the squad. You got Gavardio, so you tell me that John Stone is injured. I get that. But it's the same as Arsenal saying now, yeah, but Partey's injured. You're the one who let Xhaka go, and you're the one who got Rice, and you're the one who gave Fabio Vieira a new chance. It's not on anybody else. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it does. And I don't understand, for me, why they didn't look to get a better replacement for Calvin Phillips if that's not somebody that they want. Otherwise, just use him. He's not a bad player. A lot of people say he's awful. He's not good enough for City. That's calm. Sometimes you're not going to have a Rodri to replace a Rodri. We're not going to replace Saka in the window. We're not going to go and get another Saka. We're going to go and get another, maybe a Pedro Neto. Let's just say Pedro Neto's not a Saka, but he's a bloody good replacement for him and cover for him. And if they don't believe that Calvin Phillips is a good enough replacement, then Pep Guardiola, instead of just going, we'll brush you aside, you're now like right down the pecking order, we'll just try and throw you in there, and he goes wrong. You've got to hold that, bro. You've got to hold that. So for me, I think that they look at that position and say that is the only player that they will look at and go, we cannot lose him. For me, when you look at that Manchester City side, I think they can just about, as much as I love him, I think he's unreal, I think they can just about do without KDB. I think they've proven that they can score goals without him. I don't think they can do without Rodri. I don't mind Ortega, but let's be real, Ederson is far better. But everybody else, there's not much of a drop-off. But Rodri, there's a huge drop-off for me. So Rodri has to play for Man City. Listen, we saw already, haven't we? They've lost to Wolves, they've lost to Man City, they've lost to Newcastle, and they've lost to Arsenal without Rodri. They beat a team in between that, Leipzig. Who was playing?
Rodri.
They need him.
Yeah, 100%. So I want to believe that someone else can win the league. So I want to shift
bro.
No, seriously, looking from outside, you're an Arsenal fan. I don't mind it if Brighton win the league. I don't mind it if anybody wins the league. I don't mind it. I just want to see a change of scenery. Literally, I just want to see a change of scenery. I want to see.
Can I just say quickly that you boys let me down massively at the weekend on a bet? That's all I'm saying. Inter 2-0 up, and I'm like, yep, there we go. There, my Aka, that'll do me.
Me same here, bro. Like, this is just a mentality thing. It's a problem now. It's a problem that people are overconfident because we have the best squad in the league. We have two teams basically now. So it's just, anyway, Inter are in shambles. Serie A are already strange, very strange, to be honest. Like, just
agreed.
I don't watch a lot of Serie A, just I'm being honest here. I watch all the Premier League. I watch only my team, Inter, and the big games. Juventus play Milan play Atalanta. But of course, I watch all the Premier League, of course. But listen, Liverpool, let's shift to Liverpool. I know we spoke about Liverpool, but I want to believe that Liverpool can challenge as well. And I want to shift to one player, Mo Salah. How are you seeing him this year? Do you think he's gone back to his best? Do you think he's someone can lead that Liverpool front line for a title challenge again, to win the Europa League? As a separate player, do you see him as the best player now in the Premier League again? Like he was like 4 years ago. How do you assess Mohamed Salah this year, especially?
I think he's been incredible. I think he's been absolutely outstanding, Mo Salah. And I saw at the weekend that he just showed his class. And I just don't know why people don't give him the credit he deserves. It's another player that people seem to want to hate on. I don't know where it comes from. I've no idea.
I don't know.
For me, he's incredible, and probably, if I was to pick a Premier League Premier League all-time 11, I think he'd probably go on the right-hand side now, for me. If I'm doing like a 1 to 11, I think him and Ronaldo are two that I'd probably put over there now. People can talk about gigs, they can talk about other players, but for me, I just look at what Mo Salah can do, and I just think he's literally outstanding. And I think he's playing at some of the best football he's played. When he's not been scoring, he's been creating. When he's not been creating, he's been scoring. And I think at the weekend he was outstanding yet again. And I don't know why, but people don't seem to want to bring him up, man. It's bizarre. And, I don't really hate on Liverpool. Liverpool and Arsenal, we've never really had like this huge rivalry. It's never been like, I have to go back to 89 for there to be any form of rivalry for me. So I've always respected what Liverpool have done under Klopp, and I've always looked at how well he's done. And I do think the biggest mistake that he's made, maybe Jurgen Klopp, is that he hasn't really looked at the next generation quick enough. And that's why now we're seeing holes and gaps in the squad. And he's played that same 11 that are just now exhausted. But for me, Mo Salah deserves a hell of a lot more credit than he's been getting this season. Even last season, he got shat on, and he got 19?
He got 30-something GA.
Wow, like come on,
And
man.
he was, like people
That is
said,
class,
he had a
man.
bad season. So
Yeah,
I want to answer this comment from Daniel. You know, big up Daniel. I love Daniel. Of course, he's saying the best player in the
big
Premier
up,
League is
Daniel.
Rodri. So let me tell you the difference. What Rodri did, strangling someone and getting suspended for 3 games, it took a little bit from him. You lost 2 games, in my opinion, because Rodri wasn't there. So that takes away from him. Do you agree with that? You like red cards and yellow cards and discipline is part of the game.
Yeah, I get that, but I don't think it makes you a worse player by doing that.
It doesn't
I
make you a
don't
worse
mind.
player, but it takes a points from you. Listen, Mo
Okay.
Salah played 8 games, Rodri played 6 games, and they lost the other 2 games without him. Does that make sense? It's because you can say he's the main reason they lost the games. But you want to tell me that a player that played 20 games can be in the contention of the best player in the league because he gets red cards. One of the reasons that people said Casemiro should not be up there because of the amount of suspensions he got last year. Is that
Yeah.
if
Casemiro, I think this season has actually been pretty rash at times, but I do look at everything around him and think, wow, that has got to be affecting you. As for Rodri, I think he's unreal, man. I think he's so good. It's scary how good he is. I don't know where we're going to be ranking him when he gets to sort of 33, 34. I think he's only 25, 26, if I'm right.
26,
So
27?
I'm not looking at him at the moment thinking, oh, he's getting to an end. Where is he going to
Do you
rank?
see Declan Rice reaching that level?
Well, I mean,
No.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's too early for me in his Arsenal career, let alone his football career. He's 24 years old, so he's only 2 years behind him. I think we're talking an unbelievable level here. He reminds me of Sergio Busquets, Rodri.
In my
Reminds me of
opinion, Rodri is a
Busquets.
better player than Sergio Busquets.
Well, you might be right. You probably are right. And I want to see where this guy ranks now when his career. Are we talking about Vieira level? Are we talking about, Busquets level? Maybe we are. Maybe we are
Yeah,
now.
this is just an opinion
Scary,
that
man.
people find it crazy when I say these things. People say I have an agenda or I have the takes, and I'm just looking at someone who can do both sides of the game, offensively and defensively. Rodri, bro, he added the
Well, then
offensive
you
part
remember
of the
though,
game
Mo,
in the last year.
when he started, I didn't look at him and go, "Wow,
Me
Rodri,"
too.
at all. I looked at him and I thought, "I've got to give him more time. I'll give him enough time. I don't think he's really that great." And then boom, and I thought, "Oh, he's had a better season. Okay, he's had a really good season. Oh, okay, this guy's incredible." That was what my kind of journey was with Rodri. And I think sometimes, I think it was Luis Aragonés said once, look at Sergio Busquets, you'll understand football. Look at a game of football and you won't see Sergio Busquets. And Gilberto Silva was very much like that at Arsenal for the last few years of his career. We saw him and thought, wow, how good is he? But it was only because Arsenal fans were looking at him. All the neutral fans were going, I don't really see Gilberto what he does. I look at Vieira and I see him and I look at Henry and you think, yeah, did you not see what Gilberto does? And then Gilberto got injured and everyone was like, I see, that's why they need him. And then he come back and Arsenal were brilliant again. And I think for me, that's what Rodri is now. When he's out, wow, do you miss him? Wow.
Yeah. Listen, so I want to move to the last part of the show. So I don't want to keep it for long because I know you have a show in 15 minutes. Chelsea Football Club, are they back? 2 games
No,
on
they're
the
not.
bounce. It looks all right now. They're scoring goals. Jackson looked confident. Cole Palmer is playing football. Just a little bit of Chelsea. Do you see them in a better place than Manchester United? We're having this discussion over and over again with other people. The 10th and the 11th in the league. Who's in a better place? But first, I want to get your take on Chelsea and how it is now.
Shambles, bruv. Still shambles. They've spent £1 billion and look as bad as last year. And now because they won a couple of games, they're back. Back to where? Back to where? Like, what are people saying they're back for? Back in the top half, back fighting for the top 7, back fighting for a title. Chelsea should be going for a title every year with the amount of money they spend and how they've been set up in the last 15, 20 years. And when they're not, you need to look at why they're not. And it's obvious why they're not. They've got a reckless guy in Todd who's just throwing money around and he doesn't give a shit where he's spending it. As long as they're under 23 years old, in you come, son. So they're building for a good few years. Have they got the patience to wait that long? I don't think they have. The fan base have already done the dirty on Potter by saying you're a disgrace. Pochettino, if he doesn't get things sorted in the next few weeks when they come back from international, they'll get on his back too. They're ruthless. The fan base are ruthless because they've had a ruthless owner in Roman Abramovich who's given them 17 managers and 17 trophies. So it's not about give this manager time. Let's work with young players. Let's give them the season to see how they can gel together. Chelsea have never been about that. So are the fan base going to allow that? Because I'll tell you this now. Are Chelsea going to be able to have a project like Mikel Arteta for the next 5-6 years? Because that's what it's going to take for Chelsea to win a title right now. This isn't going to be in 2 years' time, Chelsea going to win the league. How? I don't see any of their players. Let me ask you this. In the Chelsea 11 right now, which players do you go, wow, I am shitting myself against line up against him?
Not this season, but to
Zero.
be honest, but they have the names. They have the names like the Enzos, the
Yeah.
Castedos, the Colwell, Reece James if he's fit, when he's fit, to be honest. And believe it or not, I think I like Cole Palmer. I think Cole Palmer is a fantastic player. He just lacks experience. Listen, Dan, like in my opinion, this is just a simple based on the last two games, of course. If it clicks for Chelsea, they create a lot of chances. They have the most position in the Premier League, apart from the last two games. They do a lot, but I think they can actually go get a result against Arsenal, especially at home. But let me first welcome everybody that joined from Saeed TV. Thank you, everybody that joined us. Make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. This is brand new channel, Footy Judge Mo, with content daily for you. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button for us. Let's get to 150 likes. And we're going back to Chelsea. We're talking about Chelsea. We're talking about Manchester United, of course. But Chelsea, I can see them, if it clicks, be in trouble for the big teams. Not the big teams, the teams that are on the top now. I see them making trouble.
Why is that though? What do you see that they've got?
Because I see the plan. Because I see what Chelsea are doing. I see the patterns of play. I see them not firing though, so they wouldn't put in the ball in the back of the. Go check the stats. If you watch them, they create chances. They have the position. They strangle other teams. They don't concede a lot of chances. The problem is they don't score the chances. But the last two games, Dan, they have been putting the ball in the back of the net. Cole Palmer has been creating even clearer cut chances. Raheem Sterling, when he's on it, he makes things happen. Yeah, are we going to see this consistently? That's a doubt. But they got Chukwuemeka back. My point is, when you create chances, you only need confidence to put them in the back of the net. Jackson scored now. Now Broya look okay. Palmer scoring. Sterling is on it. So why not? We're looking at here and saying, yeah, it's working now because it's 2 games only. But that's what I'm judging now, that the players have got confidence back.
Their biggest hope is that Nkunku comes back quickly and fires. That's their biggest hope. Sorry, there's a fly in here that's doing my head in.
Yeah, I know. I can see it.
He's buzzing around me. For me, that's their biggest hope. I do think he's a good player. I don't know how he's going to fit in the Premier League. No idea. But I do think he's a good player. And I think they need him. Because for me, Nicholas Jackson and Broya, I don't see them doing much with those two up front. I think they're okay. But I don't look at them and go, well, that's 25 goals. I don't look at either of those. And I think you've summed it up. They've got everything but that, when everybody's
the goal scorer, you mean?
The goal scorer. They need a goal scorer. The goalkeeper.
I like Jackson. I know you don't like him. I like Jackson.
No, I do like Jackson, actually. I just don't think that he's clinical. I don't think he's going to get.
I think he actually can be very clinical. I actually think so.
You think? Well, we'll see.
So.
We'll see.
I'll tell you why is that. Because Jackson has speed, strength, the touch is there, the passing is there. The problem with him, his connection with the ball, the problem is, I think it's confidence. So he's different than other forwards. I think it's all about the confidence. Like, he isn't all over the place, Jackson. The problem is he's hitting the ball too early. He's shooting when he shouldn't shoot. But the connection is good. That's what I mean. I see Jackson is a good player, but he needs confidence.
I mean, every player needs confidence. I get that. I just don't look at Jackson and go, yeah, Chelsea will be all right. They'll be 3rd, 4th this year.
So you think they need more? They need a forward more?
I think they definitely need a striker, in my opinion. I like the midfield when they're fit. Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo. I think they might need another creative midfielder in there. Conor Gallagher's not.
Cole Palmer is there, and there's Chukwuemeka's coming back.
I like Cole Palmer, Chukwuemeka, but I'm talking about players that have proved to me that they can get 10 to 15 GA. Because this is what I'm used to with Chelsea. Now, if Chelsea are going down a different route and they say, I like Cole Palmer, I like Chukwuemeka, get us top 6, and then we'll go again. Then see if we get top 5, then top 4, then top 3, and do it that way like Arsenal are trying to do. Finish 8th twice, 5th, then go for a title in 4 or 5 years. That's what I think Chelsea are going to have to look at. If their fan base is saying, we'll be fine next year, unfortunately, they're in crowd cuckoo land because this is a long-term thing. This isn't win now. And they've been used to win now all this time. I like their team when it's fit. I do. I think Reece James and Chilwell are very, very important to the way they play. And if they weren't so injury prone, maybe they'd be in a lot better position. I think defensively, they could be okay when everybody's fit. I do think in midfield, they're fine, as I've just mentioned. But from their front 3, Sterling's probably their best. The others are still trying to get.
It's very inconsistent, though. Very inconsistent.
Agreed.
But Let's move on to the last thing. 5 minutes because I need to have to go. Manchester United. I think this is the worst club in the top six. The worst.
100%.
And by far. And people want to say there is light at the end of the tunnel, but I don't see it.
No.
Where's the light coming from? Is it coming? People will say injuries and stuff like that. This is something very deep. It's deeper than Ten Hag. It's deeper than Rashford. It's deeper than Bruno. Listen, someone like Onana was one of the best goalkeepers in Europe last year with Inter. Look at him now. It's like completely different player. Even now, they're starting to turn on Amrabat, not looking great. And I'm like, it has to be something in the environment. It has to be. It's not tactics. This has to be something in the environment that these players are not firing. Do you see any fixing in that situation? How do they fix that?
I don't think Manchester United will be fixed until they get a new ownership, mate, that actually cares. And people can go, they've spent loads of money. Yeah, look at what they spent it on. You'll be able to tell me more. The goalkeeper looks an absolute fool, absolute clown. I don't rate him one bit. The guy has literally let in more howlers than De Gea has in the last couple of years already. He's been poor. Defensively, when you're playing Maguire and Evans at the back, you've got some issues, my bro. And when you're in midfield and you're allowing Casemiro to be abandoned and saying to Eriksen, Bruno and Mount, who all do a similar role, just go forward and leave this guy because he's one of the best DMs in the world. At 31, he's going to go, I can't do what I used to do, but I'll give it a go. And that's why he's been rash, lost his tackles. And lastly, when you have the amount of problems they do up top and you're relying on Anthony Martial, Højlund, who by far looks one of their better, most promising parts of this season, Rashford disappeared completely yet again. A player I've given a lot of stick to. A player that I like off the pitch, does a lot of great things, but a player on the pitch I look at and go, yeah, you're too nice. You need to be a little bit more nasty, my friend, because you are a player that has a bunch of talent that unfortunately at times looks like Danny Welbeck. I just don't get how 1 minute you can look great and the next minute you don't look great. And he's too inconsistent for me throughout each season. I see him scoring 4 goals, then he scores 14, then he scores 20, then he goes 3 again, then he goes 5 again, then he goes 15, and he goes down to 5 again. This guy, I don't quite get it with Rashford. Like, I really like when he's on fire, not for me. And the right-hand side, I think to bring Anthony back into the side. This is a poor side, my friend. This is poor. I said in the summer, everyone was talking about Manchester United, they're going to be right up there with Man City. Ten Hag's the guy. He's got that trophy. They'll be fine. Wait until they see Neymar coming in. Harry Kane comes in. Qatari ownership. They're going to blow the stadium up. We're going to be back. And I'm like, I'd pipe down because that's not going to happen. You're not going to get Harry Kane. You're not going to get Neymar. You're going to have to pray that you can get this Højlund guy in. Amrabat, he's going to have to come and try and save you. He's not looked great. And they've had to play him at left back. It's a shambles. And for me, when the stadium's falling down, and do you know what, Mo? And I said this last night to Aaron on my channel, who's a Man United fan. I do blame the Man United fans a lot. I do. Because they've been warned by many people that there's problems behind the scene and they stick their fingers in their ears. Don't want to hear it. My precious Man United will be fine. When Jose Mourinho comes in and goes, you're a problem. Oh, get him out. He's toxic. Get him out. He's toxic. Okay, goodbye, Mourinho. Ragnick comes in. Right, I can tell you what you need to do. X, Y, and Z needs to change behind the scenes. Too toxic. Get out. Not good enough. Ronaldo, disgrace to be fair, should have gone. But actually, he was bang on. This place ain't the same anymore. This stadium's falling down. This isn't the place that I left. This isn't the place that I fell in love with. This team is a shambles. This manager doesn't know what he's doing. We're going nowhere. Oh, get Ronaldo out. It's a disgrace. Well, they've tried to be warned 4 or 5 times. The fans then bash down the stadium for the Europa League, Super League, and then decide, actually, it's okay now because Ten Hag's bought Anthony for 80 million and we're fine. No, man.
Yeah, I see your point. I see. Like, listen, it's a bigger problem. People just don't believe it because it was people. Like, listen, last year they had a very good home form, and I thought they can translate down. I keep saying that, but they didn't. The home form could not be translated, and they regressed. And this is Manchester United. Results now are more important than a style of play. You need to win. You cannot be 10th in the league. This is Manchester United. It's the same that was said was Arsenal. Arsenal was the 8th. It's like, screw that. We'll need to get higher on the table because our fan base require higher. But anyway, people, there's over 200 of you here. So hit that like button for me, please. Give me to 150 likes. The like button is underneath your live chat. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to Footy Judge Mode. The subscription button is there. And also, Damn Pots channel is in the title. You just click on it, will take you there. You hit the like button and you stay on this video and it will redirect you to Dan. Don't leave, don't go anywhere. There's a couple of questions I'm going to take and then I'm going to end this video. More questions. United have been papering over the cracks. No, they thought that Ten Hag would fix it because that's why they got the results. You should have built on it. But the way they hired the season, the ownership problem, if your owners don't care, it translates all the way down to the youngest player. The owners don't care. The young players don't care. Everybody's just getting paid. But that's the whole point.
Can I just answer Staffy? And big up Staffy TV, by the way.
Yeah.
Can I just answer what Staffy's saying? He's
This
saying, yeah, he says, what do you want us to do? We talk about the Glazers. You say we're crying. We don't. You say we plug our ears. Unite as a fan base and demand the best at your club and raise the standards, bro. Because what I see at Manchester United is laughable now. I see Manchester United fans coming for Arsenal saying, oh my God, we had a better season than Arsenal because we come third and we won a trophy. You only come second. Bro, I grew up when both of us were fighting for the title when you used to be in mourning when we both come second. Raise the standards, man. Raise the standards. Accept the best. Get together. Stop fighting amongst your fan base and say, we want these people out and this is what we're going to do. Protest. Do something together. And if your fan base can't unite, then that's the problem. And that's why I'm pointing towards your fans, because Arsenal were in the same position with the Cronkies, fighting with each other. Some said they're doing well. Some said they're not. We had a split fan base. This is my point to you, bro. I think your fan base are very similar. They can't unite. They don't know what they want. Do they want the Glazers in? Do they want the Glazers out? How do they get them out? All these questions. Then they just sit on their hands and go, oh, we've beaten Brentford in the last minute now, so we'll be all right. So that's the way I see it, man. But big up, Staffy. I'm not.
Big up, everybody. Guys, check out Staffy TV. But anyway, thank you so much, Daniel. Dan, of course, I really appreciate you being here. Dan Potts, of course, guys. One of the superstars of AFTV. Always in the games, always on his channel, the 12th Man Podcast, of course. Check it out in the title. Stay on this video. It will take you there. Hit a like. Give him a like. Watch. He's got an amazing panel for you. But Dan, thank you everybody that watched us. Make sure to hit the like button before you go. Subscribe to the channel. If you're new, the subscription button. Turn on the notification bell to know when we go live. Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate it. And hopefully everybody, you guys will be amazing. And we're out of here. Stay on the stream. Don't go anywhere. It's going to Dan.